This is the Raw Life Health Show. Raw Life.
Hello everybody, it's Paul Neeson with the Raw Life Health Show. I am answering questions. I always get many different questions about the raw food diet and lifestyle, but one of the questions I get most often is, what is the best recipes to make? Are they too complicated to make? Can anyone make recipes? And it all depends. What I first did when I first got into eating healthy was I got some health cookbooks or health recipe books, and I made those. One of the first raw food books I ever got, which is one of my favorites, called Dining in the Raw by a lady named Rita Romano. And I have that book for sale at rawlife.com. And that was a wonderful book, and it still has great recipes that are simple to make. However, from that point on, I looked at many of the other recipe books, and I have an option to have all of them on my website, but I only keep my favorite ones. And there are some good raw food recipes in all books. So if you have a raw food recipe book in your house, use it. You don't have to run out and buy a new book just because I said it's one of my personal favorites. But if you don't have a raw food recipe book yet, I definitely recommend you start with what I've considered the best ones, because I've done this a long time and I know what people are looking for. See, there are some fancy, very expensive recipe books out there that you're going to look at it, it's going to look great, but you're not going to end up making the things in a book because they're too complicated, they're too much, and they're too long. So what I did, I got the recipe books at first. I made all the recipes. I didn't like all of them, but I made all of them. And the books that had the majority of recipes in there that I enjoyed, plus they didn't take a lot of time to make or get the ingredients, those are the ones that helped me decide what recipe book was my favorite. Well, there was a time there a couple of years ago where I didn't want to travel as much, so I hooked up with a lot of the Whole Food stores around South Florida, and I was teaching cooking classes and raw food classes, not cooking classes, raw food classes in their demo areas. And I made up a lot of my own recipes over the years, but I wanted to find a book that has some really good raw food recipes in it that would be easy to make, and I wanted to test them, so I got to test them at the expense of Whole Foods. So thank you very much, Whole Foods. But of all the raw food recipe books I found and looked at, I have a friend, my friend Coral Ann, who's written a book with her brothers, and they're from Arizona, and this is the book. Now again, before I show you the book, other recipe books are wonderful. I know a lot of other raw food authors and chefs who've made other books and stuff, and I don't neglect none of them. They're all excellent. As a matter of fact, I had our friend Nomi Shannon on the show a couple of weeks ago, and she has an excellent raw food recipe book which is one of the ones I keep on my website, rawlife.com, by Nomi Shannon. And Nomi Shannon, and her book is great as well. But my personal favorite is, not taking anything away from the other people, because they're all my friends and I love them, is this book right here. And this book is called How We All Went Raw. And it's by my friend Coral Ann and the two brothers. And I like this book because the first thing they do at the beginning of the book is they give a little background of each person that wrote the book, and they're good entertaining stories. Then it talks about why raw food is important. But then it gets into the kitchen stuff. They call it Raw Foods 101. And they get into these things like free radicals and antioxidants. It talks about why the raw food diet is so great. They talk about enzymes, all the basic information you'll need, but it's not in this small type and very hard to read. It's very easy to read, and it's really fun typeset. And it's another, also I like this, is as a book it folds back. So if you're using it as a recipe book, it folds back really great. Then they get into kitchen appliances. Now I'm going to be doing some shows on kitchen appliances real soon and setting up your own raw food kitchen. But they talk about the basics, the blender and the food processor, and they get into the different types of machines and juicers, dehydrators. So starting real soon, we're going to be having videos on all these different things, how to set up a raw food kitchen. Then it talks about raw food friends and traveling raw and where to shop and raw food preparation. And now they get into the recipe book here themselves. They have a bunch of beautiful salads. And when I say beautiful, they taste beautiful. There's a lot of flowers in some of the salads. They're just great. But other than the salads, they have pictures of everything in their books as well. Well, not everything, but they have pictures of a good amount of the recipes in their book. But before we do that, after they have the basic salads, then they start to get some ethnic dishes. So like they have the Mexican dishes, which are the guacamole and the nacho cheese sauces. Then they have the Spanish rice and the taco meat. Then they have Italian foods, and they have how to make raw food pizzas. And all these recipes are so simple. That's why I really like them. They have all of these, and they even have the American foods, the common apple pies and things. And then they got a lot of pictures in this book as well. Just a great all-around, like I said, the pages fold back. And it's most raw food recipe books that have these beautiful pictures in it are very, very expensive. But this book isn't. That's another great benefit. It's only $20. And so that's wonderful. Then we get to the back of the book. And the book's not heavy either. It's not a big, heavy, hardcover book. It's a soft book. You can carry it around easily if you're going to go to a friend's house and stuff. And then in the back of the book, they have a lot of what they had. They have each week and each month in Arizona, they've been having a pot blessing or a potluck for many, many years. And when I'm in Arizona, I speak at their place. But they have a lot of games that they play at their potlucks, and they talk about these quizzes and all these different games if you're going to have a potluck to make it more interesting and fun. And they also have different themes for social gatherings. Like for January, they might have a Chinese food theme, where February, they might have different types of foods. March might be like American food, and so on. And then, they have their questions here and their games. They have all these different quizzes in the back. And each game matches one of their themes of their event. So, and then they even have a letter here to the chef. So when you go to a chef, it says here, I like this too. You take this letter here, or you copy it, and you give this to the chef. It says, "Dear Master Chef, I only eat raw foods. Will you be willing to make me a salad that contains only raw vegetables? Please use your creative juices while using the following ingredients as a guide. Remember, no cooked or steamed vegetables, only raw food, please." And they give avocado, bell peppers, lettuce, and chard, and it gives a whole list. And so what you do is, if you can send this letter beforehand, great, a couple of days before. But even if it's the day, even if you're sitting at the restaurant, you just ask the waitress, "Can you hand this chef to this letter to the chef?" And the chef will come out with a nice, beautiful salad. And you won't have to be, it won't be mistaken as steamed being raw. It says it right there. So this book, How We All Went Raw, is on rawlife.com, along with a couple of other recipe books that I love. You can order it now. And if you have any questions or comments about this, just let me know. Post them below the video, and we will have more raw food recipes we'll be making on the Raw Life Health Show, or any particular recipes we have here. We'll be sharing some of them. They're just great. And next time I get to Arizona, I'll have the the authors on my show as well. Thanks for checking us out. If you have any questions, leave them below the video. Until then, have a great day and a great raw life.
Nature's wealth, good for your health. This is the Raw Life Health Show. Raw Life, brighten up your life.